What is up, guys? Welcome to a brand new video. Today we're on the PB again. We're in a training mode game to go over the new ZEKES and the new Redemption rework. So Redemption is slightly less of a rework. It's changing how the heal values actually work. So it massively changes who you want to buy this on and who you don't want to buy this on. But it actually is like a rework to how the heal is going to scale into the game. But the ZEKES is completely different. So this is nowhere near how it used to be before. And it's actually pretty interesting, pretty crazy as well, especially if you pair this with an AD carry, or even, whoops, that was a flash there. Let me change my cooldowns. This would be massively easier, by the way, and better as well if I could have another person on my team in training mode. I don't know if you guys think, I don't know if you've ever played with it before, but it'd be so much better. I hope I introduced it. Anyway, so ZEKES first. The base stats are still there: armor, magic resist, mana, and the cooldown reduction. So it's still like a pretty decent item anyway. But the pairing thing that happens is going to be completely different now. So buy it to a nearby ally. I'm going to use it on this target dummy. And then casting your ultimate near an ally actually summons this kind of frost storm for 10 seconds. So first thing first, let's do that. So you see this, I have now this little frost storm around me. And there we go. So I'm actually going to be slowing this target dummy for 10 seconds. Now that 10 seconds is actually a pretty long time in a team fight. So that number one is pretty cool already. But the bigger thing really is, as this is going on, the enemies are going to be slowed by 30%, as we just said. But your allies' attacks burn their target for 60% bonus magic damage over 2 seconds. Now this whole thing has a 45-second cooldown. And the burn is over 2 seconds. So for example, if you're going to be attacking every 1 second because you have loads of attack speed, it doesn't just like stack together and become enormous. It's going to refresh. But still, it's actually pretty crazy. You're going to be increasing your damage by an absolute ton. So if, just for example, I'm going to use my ultimate again. I'm going to have this circle. And you see this little buff. Okay, deals 0 bonus magic damage. Nice. But yeah, so he has this like little fire thing on him right there. And that is the buff. Like kind of a berserk thing, I guess. That's the kind of some mechanic that it's using. And that would be burning the person if they could attack, obviously. The other thing as well that actually is with this is if I used my ultimate and I was in this frosting right here, if this person was attacking this and then I attacked afterwards, this frost circle would start burning everybody in it as well. So there is some kind of like synergy where you want to start focus on the same target. It's this bit at the bottom. If you have a look at that, attacking a burning enemy ignites your frost storm for 3 seconds. So everybody inside takes 50 damage per second, which honestly is not too bad. I mean, I doubt that you could attack instantly as this thing went off. But as an example, I guess really, if you kept doing this and kept refreshing it, you probably get like 9 seconds worth of damage. So you get 450 damage from this ZEKES item, which is actually kind of crazy really for a support to do 450 damage. And the bigger thing really is a 60% bonus magic damage, right? So this reads exactly like, maybe I'm an idiot, but this reads well, I probably am. This reads exactly like if your AD carry crits for 1000 damage, you'll do 60% of that over 2 seconds as bonus magic damage, which is going to be an extra 600. So you do 1600 damage. Now, one of the really big things actually about this whole thing is that having a mix of AD and magic damage is really, really important for an AD carry. So this is one thing most people don't really think about that much very at all, but I really want to go into it very quickly because this is why I think the item is actually pretty broken. If this did 60% bonus physical damage, it wouldn't be anywhere near as good. So a tank, when they're trying to fight an AD carry, a fed AD carry in particular, they will stack armor, right? You're going to have like 2-3 armor items maybe at the same time. Also, this really applies for a full AD team, which we'll get into in a second. So with magic damage, if they don't build any MR, like you're attacking them from 2 different sources, right? All of this armor is going to be blocking auto attack, but this item doing magic damage means that it bypasses that armor and it goes straight in. So it does actually a lot more damage, and a tank stacking armor is not as threatening to you if you have a ZEKES on you, because you're going to be doing a ton of damage obviously with your AD, that's your primary source, but you're also going to be doing an absolute ton with your magic damage, which is absolutely massive. This is why Corki, for example, right, was really, really strong for a while, because tanks couldn't really deal with him. Like, he absolutely shred them, because you have to build armor to deal with his AD, but all of his abilities are magic. So if you build armor, you're getting shred by his abilities. If you build magic resist, you're getting shred by his auto attacks. It's a very similar deal with ZEKES, where you turn that into every single AD carry now. Like Vayne, for example, if you put this onto a Vayne, she's doing physical damage, true damage, and she's doing magic damage at the same time. So you need armor for the physical, health for the percentage health damage, and you'd need you then need like magic resist, can get my words out, for the magic damage onto the Zeke. So that's why actually I think this is pretty much broken, honestly, for an AD carry at the moment in this current state anyway, because tanks just cannot deal with it. So you're going to be absolutely wrecking tanks with this 100%. But it's also like, I mean, over 2 seconds, it's like a bleed. If you do a ton of damage but somebody escapes, you're likely going to kill them with this extra damage afterwards. Whoops, AFK warning. But yeah, so that is why it's completely, in my opinion, busted. Not only, like, if you imagine as well, I picked a Thresh because I thought this would probably be like a good example of somebody who might use it. But actually, with this being so strong, you can also remember, it doesn't have to be an AD carry, but it is your allies' attacks. So as a mid laner, for example, it doesn't really make as much sense. The old Zekes, you could bind to them. It made a bit more sense, honestly, but with this, it doesn't really. The other thing, well, there are loads of things with this. This is why I'm trying to go into it all and cover everything at the same time as to why this is so broken. But you have so you have the 60% bonus magic damage, but this now applies for every single AD carry build, no matter what it is. So if it's a Kog'Maw, if it's a Lucian, if it's a Misfortune, if it's a Caitlyn, this is all always gonna work, and ZEKES is actually gonna be applicable in like literally every single game. Before, when you had this ZEKES item, like, it would activate, but it gave you crit, right? So crit on some champions is just bad. Like, you don't need it. Like a Kalista, for example, or a Kog'Maw. You're not building crit anyway, so crit really is redundant. Like, it's not doing much. If you don't have an Infinity Edge, the item becomes really less efficient as well. So it's a lot about like what AD you're playing with. But this really doesn't matter what AD you're playing with at all. Like, you're gonna be, obviously it's better really with a high critting AD carry, because that 60% is going to burn for a longer time. If you're attacking all of the time, like really fast attack speed builds, not as good, because you're going to be refreshing the magic damage like before the 2 seconds is timing out. Whereas if you're going to attack, if you attack once every 2 seconds or once every 1 second or whatever, with 60% of a massive hit, that's going to be better than attacking like 3 or 4 times in the same space, a period of time, if that makes sense. So it is going to be better. Like Draven springs to mind. Imagine a Draven Axe cracking you for 1,000 crit mid-game, and then you burn for an extra 600 damage magic. That's pretty ridiculous, I think, honestly. Like, it shreds tanks, it shreds squishy targets. It's absolutely ridiculous. Now, the other change, let's go on to the redemption. So, redemption works exactly the same. As you can see, it's going to heal me here. But the way it works now is basically at the very bottom, it says on the last item, well, or the last line of it, it says heal and shield power is 3 times as effective on redemption's heal now. So the base damage is actually quite a bit lower. They've rejuggled around some of the stats as well. But you see the first unique passive on this item, it says 10% heal and shield power. That is what it's referring to, okay? So if you have a lot of this percentage heal and shield power on other items as well, then your redemption is actually going to be healing for more. But if you only have this one, it's actually going to be healing for less. So for example, just with redemption on its own, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a graphic on the screen now, which is a bit mathy, but it's actually going to show you exactly where the redemption becomes better. So on this graphic, this is by Shakarez, by the way. I'm going to link his Twitter down below. You should follow him. Honestly, I find it really interesting if you're into the game, because he actually has a lot of knowledge about it. He's a very smart guy, and he posts a lot of stuff like this as well. So this is like, if I ever theory craft a build or like a change and stuff, I always check it with him first, because he's actually really smart league-wise. So if you have a look at this graphic, the yellow boxes are where the PvE version of the redemption becomes equal to the live version of the redemption. So as you can see, the first column is just the base value on its own already. So you can see actually you're already healing for 120 less late game, which is actually pretty big when you're healing like 5 people, right? That's like a 600 reduction in the heal team-wide, which is pretty big, honestly. And then we go for the redemption buff on its own, because it does have 10% shield, and it only, like, it's still at level 18. It's not going to be higher, okay? So when you have wind speakers though as well, so if you take the keystone wind speakers, which does stack with this as well, you're going to be hitting the same level at level 16. So it actually becomes a bit better on defensive support. So you can see where they're aiming redemption, right? Get it off tanks like a Braum or like a Scion or a Thresh or whatever, who just stack it because why not, as well as tank items. you want them to be getting wind speakers, you want them to be defensive, Karma, Janna, and that kind of people. Like, that's who Redemption is really designed for. So wind speakers and Ardent Sensor, now we're actually going even at level 6. The wind speakers and Mikkel's, we're going even at level 4. And if we put both of them together, we'd be going even level 3. Now, obviously, you don't get a Redemption at level 3, but at level 18, for example, like the last column there, that's going to be a 200 buff to what it is now. So you're going to be healing for 900 on a Redemption per person in a team fight. So that's like 4,500 heal. So imagine like a ZEKES, right? Well, he can't do 4,500 damage like in AoE anyway. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, surely if he hits everybody, his ultimate may be able to do that. So basically, your Redemption that you've bought here is going to be completely nullifying a champion's ultimate like that. It's actually pretty ridiculous. Like, Redemption already heals for a ton. You know, it can be massively impactful in a team fight. And now it's going to heal for 200 more in defensive support. So I've rambled for way too long in this video. I'm really sorry. I did not mean to make it this long at all. But yeah, these are reworks to ZEKES and Redemption. You can see why they're actually going to be massively impactful for the game. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in tomorrow's video.